Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of A Link to the Past Fall 2019 Randomizer Tournament. We've got Game 2 here between ChristosOwen and Hitsuyan1337. My name is Tao Decay, and I am joined in commentary today by Hammer Bro. Hammer, how you doing today?
I'm doing great, man. We have a seed that I'm really looking forward to. And it's another day. We have some more randomizer races, so my rando fix is being completed. I'm happy to be here, and I'm looking forward for a good race. We do have no excuse me. We have changes, so we're just going to do a standard no sword assured, 7 crystals, full Ganon sour complete, that sort of thing. So we're going to have a regular race this go around. But I'm looking forward to hopefully some divergence. And I want it to be close at the end. What are you looking for this race?
I mean, these are both super talented runners. Christos is ChristosOwen. Hitsuyan, I believe, came in. Was he the first place from the qualifier?
I think you're correct there. I would have to double check that because unfortunately I have not been keeping enough track of that like I should be, but I'm fairly certain you're right.
So yeah, we have 2 fantastic runners here, and I'm going to limit myself to saying this once, how devastatingly handsome Christos is. So,
That is an attractive man. You are absolutely correct.
All right, so we're getting going here. Should be any second now. Thanks for hanging out with us here with the delay. I know we're about 10 minutes later than we're supposed to be, but we should be getting ready any moment.
Yeah, most definitely. I'm hoping that this race ends up being a perfect adage to the phrase, good things happen to those who wait. So we're here about 10 minutes after where we should be, but I'm hoping we get a great race out of it. So what's your preference when you're calming? Do you prefer things to be a little trolly, or do you want our seed to be a little kinder to our runners?
Well, I like to think of myself as a nice person, but, I like to see a lot of rando, which means I like to see a lot of trolls, so we get more seed time. And we've got a double Link's House start, just a piece of heart, and our first. So that was a 5-6 on Tower Hera.
And the other 2 were regular crystals. So far, we have the potential for some quicker seeds, given that all 3 pendants are going to be in the Dark World.
Yeah, that's right. That's definitely something you like to see, especially with players of this caliber. They might be missing an item that other players are going to want. And if you can avoid it for something like the flute, maybe for Meyer, they're going to be able to handle.
Yeah, that is a good point. Speaking of things we want, I'm fairly certain that 80 rupee tree pull was something that both of our runners are fairly happy to see. It's nice to know that you're not going to have to worry about money this seed. And there's a hook shot. All right, so far so good.
As my favorite item in the game, I'm so glad to see that early. We got that Bombo startup too, which means that, it's a little early to speculate on this front, but we could have that classic Ice Palace Fire Rod locked in Ice Palace.
That's a good point. We also had a sword sitting in Sanctuary, so we can actually use that Bombos medallion right now. That's pretty early to be able to do that. 3 bombs on Lake Hylia Island, which we're not going to be grabbing. Going to go into the shop instead.
Well, not quite. We do need the Master Sword to use that medallion.
Nope, any old sword will do for using a medallion. You just need the Master Sword to actually unlock the, what do you call them?
The entrances.
Unlock them. Yeah, in the vanilla game, yeah.
I gotcha.
Hey, and we got bombs from the bush crab. We got rupees and bombs fairly easily accessible. This is turning out to be nice so far. All right, just 10 arrows on the lumberjack ledge, so that's not bad. So far, Aghanim not required. Let's hope that continues.
Now we'll see here. And just so everybody knows, the tracker has been misbehaving a little bit today. It should be updating. Looks like we're finally starting to get some items up on there. Hitsuyan with the sword in Agina's.
So that's 2 swords that are early accessible? Okay. Alright, I'm not mad at that. Yep, Christo's going to take advantage of that, grab 80 more rupees for himself. Meanwhile, we have a fairly early dam play. Oh, and it works out. Hello, Moon Pearl. Alright. This is so far seeming to be friendly. Obviously, early seed has nothing to do with how much hide and seek we're going to be playing later on. But for now, things are popping up fairly nicely.
Yeah, you can never tell with some seeds. I mean, sometimes they'll start out nice and they'll just stay nice, and other times, you'll get that massive front-loaded tempered sword in under 10 minutes, and you're going to be stuck looking for the ice rod for the next 80 minutes.
Yeah, that's a fair point. I think with this particular version, with version 31, it seems to be more likely that people are looking for the fire rod nowadays than the ice rod.
I think we can agree the rods are the problem.
9 times out of 10, yeah, you are absolutely correct. Hitsuyan grabbing a bottle with a fairy in it. That's going to help. And the power gloves. Okay, so far we are just dropping key items left and right. But if Christos does not find a bottle here in Kakariko, then that will be an advantage for Hitsuyan when he does make it back here. He'll be able to check Sick Hit.
Yeah, so we are just one item away from Dark World access already, less than 5 minutes in. And speaking of Ra...
So is that a commentator's blessing then? Because we talked about it being terrible and then it showed up. I feel like that's a good thing. We could take credit for this. Oh, and those crabs, man.
Well, thank goodness for that fairy. And you know what? I'm not going to take credit for that because, when things start going south, that means we have to take responsibility. So just going to let the seed handle that.
That's not a bad idea at all. Let's see if this ice rod... Nope. Ice rod cave, not helpful, but it's an item that's no longer isolated, so get that out of the way at least.
And that's Zora money for Christos.
Yeah, this seed has been super rupee happy at this point. Back of escape check. So it seems like Hitsuyan is following one of the more recent metas I've seen crop up, and that is, ironically enough, avoid Kakariko for as long as you can, so that you can get other items that maybe make it easier. And we see another sword on the race game.
Going back to that commentator's blessing, I did say something about a sub 10-minute tempered sword.
You very well did, and depending on what order our runners check things, that is most definitely possible.
Now, Hitsuyan is heading down for Dark Cross here.
Yeah, it's not a bad check. It's something that can be easily orphaned, especially if you do go on and check the front of escape. Because without the mirror, you either have to death warp or you're walking your butt all the way back, and that's just not fun to do. So it's nice to check it while you're here if you're confident in doing that, which Hitsuyan obviously is.
The single artisanal arrow at Dark Cross.
Well, I guess we can't expect all the checks to be useful, but the Arrow of Destiny may come in handy later on. Alright, Christo's going to grab his Moon Pearl here, and Hitsuyan going to go ahead and go to Kakariko, but through the southern route, which is something I've also been seeing more and more of. Alright,
Yeah.
So with Christos taking the standard route, we actually have the possibility to see a fake flipper in just a moment between the Moon Pearl and the 660 rupees he has just kind of sitting there.
Yeah, that's going to be a very tempting play for Christos, being able to just go ahead and knock out all those checks all at
Mini Moldorm Cave actually being somewhat friendly here, so they didn't give him the runaround. Alright, Christos grabbing his glove and fairy in a bottle, which with 2 hearts here might end up being needed with these crabs, because they are mean.
Yep, and Hitsuyan grabbing that 8-minute tempered sword.
Yep, it's a good call on your part. You want to make any other predictions for the race?
Well, I already said Ice Rod Hunt, so I'm gonna wait and see if that shakes out before I try to be nice.
Alright, that's a fair point. You might be waiting a while, though, if it ends up being an Ice Rod Hunt. Yeah, that one crab most definitely tried to make a comeback on Christos, but he was expecting it, so Christos did manage to survive that one. Gonna grab his 10 arrows here, and Sick Kid, speaking of 10 arrows, has 10 arrows as well. So, other than that check kind of being all on its lonesome right now for Christos, not missing anything integral to continue the game.
All right, let's see, Christos, are you heading into the water?
Yep, very much is. The question at this point will be, are we going to see a hobo check? Some runners decide to do that, and some do not. And it looks like we are, so we're going to get pretty much everything cleared at this point. Though I don't know if he would be able to do Splash Deletion Glitch for the Zora Ledge if needed.
I don't believe so, but he will at least have the intel if there's something orphaned, but everything else will be easily accessible for him.
Yep, that Moon Pearl makes Waterfall Cave accessible in a bout of logic that I have no idea how actually works. But, you know, Moon Pearl lets you walk on water, so I'm not going to complain. Oh, that's unfortunate.
Instant death from the fake flippers.
Yep, that is actually a change that the Randomizer implemented, because if we were playing the vanilla game and that happened, well, he would just kind of be soft-locked right now. So the Randomizer decides to be nice and just kill you outright.
Christos taking this opportunity to go do a little bit more backtracking where Hitsuyan's already done. Check the back of Escape. We'll see if he goes down to Dark Cross as well.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me to see him go ahead. Meanwhile, Hitsuyan coming up and doing Lost Woods, since he went south to north. So one of the really interesting things about the open mode versus standards is that we don't know when our runners are going to go ahead and get Escape done. Obviously, they've both done Back of Escape, although Christos did not do Dark Cross. But that front of Escape is still kind of sitting there, so it'll be interesting to see when that gets routed in.
Yeah, right now it looks like Christos is going to be checking the closet, probably head into Eastern Palace, take care of most of those checks there.
Yeah, definitely not a bad idea. And there's Tempered.
You know, with that hook shot, Death Mountain play.
That's a fair point. It would be out of logic since we don't have either the lamp or the flute, but there's a boatload of items we can go grab right now. Not a bad idea. And I'm fairly certain that Christos is following your train of thought. So good call on that one.
Yeah, Hitsuyan was headed right in there as soon as we finished talking. So, yeah, both of our owners are going to do a little bit of a sync up here on Death Mountain.
Just a 20 rupee tip from the old man for escorting him up the mountain, as it were. We will see what's in our 2 spectacle rock locations. And we're probably going to have a jump down and head over to the eastern portion.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting to see what we can come up with here on Death Mountain. It's going to probably set the tone for what's coming up in the seed here. You know, whether or not we end up going to escape, if we can find that Dark World access up here, hopefully avoid.
Yeah, that's not a bad point. We're still looking for either the mitts or that hammer. So we're still waiting on that. But with 11 items here total and only 3 of them checked, we still have plenty of opportunity. And speaking of opportunity, there's opportunity to get deadlocked because, well, you're on Death Mountain.
Just a little bit of love for Hitsuyan there.
Yeah, the bottom of Paradox Cave seemed a bit half-hearted. I'd say I'm sorry, but that would be a lie. So, you know.
I think I'm getting immune to the puns at this point with this community.
All right, a grand total of 95 rupees in the powder, which we can't even use right now, so, you know. Time to hold out hope for Spiral Cave, I guess. That's all we have left over here.
Yeah, time for that Spiral Cave of Shame.
And man, is it a long walk if you don't have boots.
There we go.
That was worth it. Alright, so now we have, at bare minimum, another 6 items. Not sure if we're going to be able to get Spike Cave done. Would definitely be difficult for Hitsuyan given the current amount of health and magic and such. Alright, so pendants are going to be Skullwoods, Thieves Town, and Ice, which is somewhat unfortunate because, well, we already have the Fire Rod, so Skullwoods and Thieves Town would be rather quick clears at this point. But those are just pendants, so hopefully we won't need those.
Yep. Meanwhile, we've got it looks like the other 5/6 crystal rather is on Misery Mire. So if we need to get to Pyramid Fairy, gotta find that flute.
Also have to find at least one medallion.
Well, we've got Bombos right now, so 1 out of 3 down.
With that full magical decanter right there, Spike Cave will be checkable. Don't know specifically if it would be in logic or not, but I imagine with a cape and a bottle, most likely would be. So I'd be surprised if either of our runners left that at this point.
So that was really quick there, but I think that was an ether on Turtle Rock.
I believe you're correct, But don't quote me. All right, Spike Cave needs the hammer. Ignore the idiot in the comm booth. Sad part is, I've made that mistake 5 or 6 times, and I still can't get it straight in my head.
Nah, that's fine. It's Spike Cave. So Hookshot Cave giving us our Fisher Price shield and a mushroom. So we're starting to line up those fetch quests a little bit.
Yeah, difference being the mushroom is actually something we could turn in now if we so desired. Aghanim, while logically not dead, at this point almost definitely going to be dead, since I'm fairly certain both of our runners know how to do the current bomb jump.
Hitsuyan doing the classic quick Skull Woods dip before heading down into Village of Outcasts.
And Christos electing not to, so this could be an interesting point of divergence here. Speaking of fetch quests.
Yeah. Okay, so we got Thieves Town versus Skull Woods. Let's see who's going to get the better value.
Honestly, if I know Randomizer, the answer is going to be ha, neither of them. I'll take it back. I'll take it back.
I think the answer might also be the hammerlock big chest in Thieves Town that needs to get they need to come back to.
That's a fair point, but with the bow sitting here, we've at least gotten something out of it. Although it might not even be the bow that we technically require, since bows are now progressive, which is nice. It means you're not going to be running around with the silver arrows and nothing to shoot them with anymore. And Christos not going to do the back.
Meanwhile, Hitsuyan is dropping down for our first boss battle.
And when Tempered Sword, this is an easier fight than it otherwise might be.
Yeah, look at that. Oh, and Christos finding the flippers in the C-shaped house. So maybe the seed urging him to head on back to that Zora area a little bit more.
Most definitely. Meanwhile, Hitsuyan grabbing that green pendant, so we'll get to see if that's anything useful once we get around there again.
Yeah, definitely a nice thing to have on hand since we already got to get back there for Eastern End Pod. Hopefully the runners will have the mirror by the time they have to hit that area so that they can do them both back to back. But we'll see how that shakes out.
I mean, hopefully they'll get the hammer, because right now we're still missing that.
It's a lot of digging there. There we go.
Yeah, 24 digs, but we at least get a full heart container out of it. Meanwhile, Hitsuyan continuing his exploration of Skull Woods. Doing back to front, though, which makes sense, since we're going to be doing some stuff afterwards.
Christos grabbing some Ecto Cooler from Stumpy.
You know, speaking of that bottle, we still haven't gotten a sick kid check from him, which would have been able to be easily completed if we just had that sneaking mirror.
Yeah, luckily nothing of much value on sick kid, but yeah, we'll have to see how much that is maybe weighing on his mind later.
Yep. Speaking of weighing, Hype Cave is coming up. Do we anticipate anything useful in here?
Let's get a hammer. We need that hammer. Let's get it here in Hype.
I mean, I'm right here, dude.
Oh gosh.
And seeing that I'm right here, well, I'm not right there. Sorry. Keep looking.
Well, aside from Sandcart, your cave was terrible.
Wait a minute. Why are we calling this my... Ooh, hello. There's the hammer.
Speak, and he shall appear before you.
So that is interesting.
So yes, that Skull Woods play, very nice value for Hitsuyan. Gets a pendant for checking in later, gets that hammer, and oh, looks like we are gonna grab Quake too.
Yep, so at this point, all we're gonna need is Ether. I do find it amusing that both of our pendant dungeons sitting next to the Village of Outcasts gave us 1/2 of access to pod, and both of our runners, well, only grabbed 1/2.
I see what you're going for.
Because, well, Rando's gonna Rando. Although we might have Hitsuyan going back and doing Thieves Town. Which would, in fact, give him the bow and be able to allow him to full clear pod.
Yeah, this is going to be a setback for Chris here, having to do an unnecessary double dip of pod. Is getting the Canis Samaria.
Yep, which does mean that our lovely pod over here is bow locked. Obviously not going to be a problem for Christos here, as he does in fact have the bow. And in just a moment, looks like Hitsuyan will have the bow as well.
Yeah, no, we'll see if Hitsuyan is going to commit to going deeper into Thieves Town after finding that hammer in Skull Woods, or if he's just going to check the first 4 and bow out like Chris said.
Honestly, it wouldn't surprise me to see him only check the first 4, because at this point we have access to a boatload of crystal dungeons. So it's just one of those things where there are several other things I could be doing with my time right now that I definitely am going to need to do at some point. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him full clear Thieves Town, but I would prefer to see just a front 4. And without the hammer, Christos having a death warp here.
Okay, so Hitsuyan looks like is going to be diving a little bit deeper. And yeah, what is with that beep speed, Christos? Man.
Beady, 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 beady. I personally put it on the slowest setting I can manage, so it's the least amount of annoyance.
If I played Seeds, I would do the same, but I'm not good enough to play this game.
I'm not either. I just try anyway. That's why I'm sitting here commentating, because I am terrible at this. Meanwhile, Christos grabbing a fire shield, which has minimal use. All right, so an interesting change in V31. Certain rooms are in logic with just the fire rod, not the lamp. This room being one of them. So we could actually find the lamp down here.
Of course, we are not, because that seems to be the way the seed's going.
Yeah, pretty much, but it's one of those things you have to keep in mind. Dark Maze, on the other hand, does not have any torches to light up, so this is lamp required.
Meanwhile, Hitsuyan putting that new hammer to work, checking out hammer pegs, grabbing a little armor upgrade, and it's the beeps.
Hey, it'll just keep you awake. You know, it's Saturday. Might doze off otherwise.
That'd be bad.
Exactly, that's why he's got the double speed heart beeps. Alright, and with Hitsuyan having 24 digs to go ahead and get out of the way, we're going to be here for a little bit. Probably a little longer than he was hoping. There we go.
There we go. Whew.
Oh, you didn't like hearing the rapid fire beeps?
It very stressful. Very stressful sounding.
You know, I'm kind of surprised that Hitsuyan didn't check powder.
Well, I think he's sticking to the Dark World checks right now, and without having that mirror, maybe when he gets back to the Light World, he's gonna go check that. And now he did Sick Kid already, so yeah, that's the only thing left there for him besides the Smith chain.
Yeah, that's a good point. I keep forgetting they don't have mirror. It's so weird not having mirror 30 minutes in. Makes routing, honestly, not fun.
Oh, and that wasn't a sand cart. That must have just been a full heart when the quarter. My bad.
Yeah, I think the quarter heart right afterwards kind of fooled you into it, because I thought the same thing. Meanwhile, we are getting an Eastern Palace dip from Christos, which is not fully in logic, because we still technically need that lamp, but, you know, we're not too worried about that.
Yeah, I think Christos is starting to get a little bit more methodical here, trying to find that hammer or something. No, actually, I would be wanting the hammer desperately at this point.
Yeah, hammer is going to be the item that's going to give you the most progression to be able to run through, so I feel like that's going to be top of the list. I did not see it was over on the pyramid ledge, but Hitsuyan didn't want it, so I'm not going to worry about it too much.
It looked like either a full or a piece of heart.
Gotcha. Meanwhile, Eastern Palace being annoying. So far, nothing at all.
Yeah, well, maybe that's how the seed's gonna go. The pendants are gonna have all of the actual item value, and the crystals will just have the crystals.
Oh, that would be a terrible seed. Why would you say something like that?
Well, it's out there now, so can't take it back.
Oh man, yeah.
Hey, did you see its pedestal ice? I'm sorry, pendant ice.
Yeah, I'm starting to be slightly fearful that pedestal is going to come into play. So you were thinking the same thing I was there. Christo's making it through the dark rooms, no problem.
Still just couch cash.
Yeah, not even good couch cash. Like, we couldn't even get a 50.
Now, Hitsuyan is going through pod here. Unlike Christos, he is going to be able to full clear this place out.
Yeah, which given that Christos is doing Eastern right now, it's going to be a double dip into this area for him, which is unfortunate.
Yep, especially if that green pendant comes into play. Oh.
That's a good point. There's also the possibility of our lovely Helmasaur King having something useful, and that would be problematic as well. Alright, so in the handbook of Blink and You'll Miss It fights, we have the Armos Knights. 18 arrows, 18 arrows, and yeah. Just a little more cash. 45 rupees in Eastern. Thanks.
Well, at least it was consistent.
Yeah, not the consistency Christos was hoping for.
So I wonder what Christos is thinking right now. I mean, he does have that Zora area and flippers. It could be, that's a few item checks that are nicely pushed together.
Yeah, that's a good point. A lot of it's actually out of logic for him right now. Can't do Swamp without the mirror. We could do Ice Palace if we were so inclined. Can't complete it without the hammer, but we could at least get in the door and kind of rummage around a little bit. Tower of Hera is currently out of logic because he does not possess the hammer. Can't do anything else in Pod. Can't do anything in Mire or Desert. So yeah, we're kind of running out of checks for Christos, which hopefully is going to push him towards Skull Wood sooner rather than later.
And somebody in chat pointing out he does also have Escape open, which hopefully he doesn't head back there unless there is something there. But we're kind of running out of items that could be there that would be useful for this seed.
Yeah, in terms of items that we...
Mirror on the ledge!
Of course it is. And with that mirror, you'll be able to reflect on the potential ripoff that you're about to receive from Zora. Because let's be honest, it's almost always a ripoff. Yep.
Well, at least you get the mirror here. I mean, you know, think of all those times you go to Zora, you pay $500 for a single rupee, and there's like a piece of heart or some arrows.
Yeah, that's a fair point. We ended up getting something useful. That mirror, ironically enough, would have been much more helpful had he been able to get it before that entire Dark World check. But, you know, you get what you get. And looks like we are going to have a Hera check. I do find it amusing that both of our runners are kind of avoiding the fetch quests as of right now.
Well, I think they'd probably be more inclined to get over to them if, well, you know, if they had had the mirror when they went to Stumpy, get that shovel taken care of, or having the flute for Mushroom. But yeah, actually, Hitsuyan is just, yeah, with that lack of mirror, again, couldn't get to Light World to get into the Mad Batter, whatever his name is. Magic Bat, we call him, that's right.
I just call him Alfred because he's in the Batcave.
I get it.
Alrighty, so 38 minutes in. Grab your coffee, grab your tea, grab your hot chocolate, or whatever else you might be drinking today, and enjoy yourself a quick break.
Let's see what the basement's holding for us today.
Vanilla. Alright, so at some point we have to start wondering where that lamp could be to put all of this back into logic.
Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing. Wow, where could it?
I mean, I don't think we've actually found anything in any of the dark rooms, so technically it still could be in any of its usual hideouts.
Yeah, we didn't get that Agina check yet, did we?
Nope, we have not. That is a good call. Could very well be there.
Escape as well. Yep. There's a couple of early Sphere Zero checks that are still hanging out.
Yeah, not to mention Back of Thieves Town, all of Ice Palace. And both of our runners showing the superiority of the Bacon Blade as a couple of bosses go down in rapid fire stereo here.
Actually, I don't think Thieves Town is in logic for lamp, but yeah, it's got some nice sync here.
Alright, I'm just saying it could be in the back. Not that it's required for it, but just that's a spot that neither of our runners have checked where it could be located. So interestingly enough here, we are in fact at a little under 41 minutes going to have an escape check. Meanwhile, Hitsuyan, bemoaning the lack of mirror, is going to have to take another quick walk over to Eastern Palace in the Light World.
Yeah, we're gonna check out that green pen and see how that Skull Woods play paid off for him.
Honestly, at this point, got him the hammer. This thing could be, I don't know, a 20 rupee deficit and it would still be worth it. But we do get the swag net.
Can't put a price on swag. And our final medallion is in Escape, so Escape is required.
Alright, so it's getting to the part of the seed where we might start considering what we need to finish it out. Potential for boots. Definitely going to need that flute. And then, yeah, Ice Rod. So your early game assumption is still alive.
Yeah, and also just getting that lamp in general would be nice. You don't want to have to go through all the dungeons that they still have left in full dark mode.
Yeah, Mire dark rooms are not fun. It would not surprise me to see a dark cross check here. Yep, Christos going to go ahead and finish off Escape completely. This is another check that is within logic with the Fire Rod. And Christos showing us exactly why.
Yeah, he's not going to be happy with his arrow gift here. Yeah.
Yeah, not what he wanted to see, but the name of the game for Rando is don't orphan checks if you can at all help it, so it's something you can either check off on your tracker or check off on your mental tick list.
All right, so speaking of those fetch quests, we're going to see a little redemption of that shovel here.
Yep, that's going to be one of 3, mushroom and powder, still on the loose right now for the time being. But Dig Spot hopefully going to give us something interesting, if nothing else. Or alternatively not.
I'll see where Christos is heading from here. I would like to see him get down to the desert area, get that Agena check.
Yeah, that would be nice. I don't think we're going to get it. I think he is instead perhaps going to do a sick kid check here, because that still is something that he has not done yet.
Yeah, probably sick kid, and then right into Dark World, check out Skull Woods, and maybe even a little bit more Thieves Town. But at the minimum, hopefully he's going to be getting that hammer out of Skull Woods.
Yeah, definitely. That is something we most definitely want to see him grab sooner rather than later. At 45 minutes, the duck is still on the loose. We are attempting to chase down that duck. We'll get back to you once we have more information on it.
All right, Christos, heading up for Skull Woods.
Awesome. Gonna grab that hammer, and then that's gonna unlock quite a bit for him. We'll be able to complete pod, but as you can recall, chat, nothing useful on Helmasaur. Just had, I believe, a map, so could save that for later. That's gonna be kind of an out of the way thing to do, anyways. So.
Yeah, Hitsuyan having a little bit of a rickety shooting in that previous room. Let's see if he makes it up here. Good enough.
Yeah, almost not being too terrible, even if you let it get out of hand. Yep, and Christos grabbed that hammer, I believe, and took off. And it looks like we are going to get a swamp play. Not a bad call. It'll definitely give us some more information. And with the hammer, it is now fully within logic.
Yep, a lot of items over in Swamp Palace as well.
Yeah, that is interesting. I don't know if Hitsuyan got the second item in Skull Woods. I believe he did, but I don't recall off the top of my head what it is. That is not something that Christos did. Christos saw the big key, went to the big chest, got the hammer, and noped right out.
I believe it was more of that wonderful cache that we seem to keep on finding.
Yeah, that's a safe bet. You know, for being such an early dungeon, Desert Palace seems to give access in a very stingy fashion. We're still looking for either the book or the flute to be able to get in there.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because there's not the access points for desert. You're going to need either flute or book. Ultimately, book is only used to get into desert or to check the 2 tablets. And flute is theoretically only used for mire access. So from a logic perspective, the seed doesn't really, it's not multi-purpose.
Yeah, that flute also could be our Death Mountain access, because we still don't have the lamp. So it'll be interesting to see what we find first in terms of that. Hitsuyan gonna grab his mirror, though, so that'll be nice to see. And that doesn't even speak about the potential of actually being able to clear desert. There's a decent shot. We're also going to need those boots, which are, somewhere.
Yeah, that would be upsetting for our runners, but I kind of want it to happen. Although, you know what? How about let's give them boots a little bit earlier so that we can get a little speed going up in here, and then we'll leave the ice rod for the pain item.
I mean, we're almost sitting at 50 minutes. I don't know what you qualify as early, as we do see Arcane of Brian.
In a relative sense.
Alrighty. We'll see if that ends up working out. Meanwhile, Christos skipping the left side for now. We will see if that ends up being useful or less so, depending on what we find back here. And Hitsuyan looks like following him right into Swamp.
Yeah, I would be surprised if Christos left that left side alone, unless he knows that there is literally nothing left over there.
Yeah, left side swamp is really not something you want to mess with, especially not when you need multiple items at this point. Alrighty, so with Tempered Sword, this boss fight going to be among the easier ones that our runners are going to have to deal with today.
Yep,
Argus being fun.
Hopefully see some poke strats.
Yeah, that's always fun to see. Very, very difficult to pull off, but absolutely amazing when you run across it. Looks like Christo's just going to go for the hook and slash. Yep, and that is the second phase. Up, down, and that's unfortunate. Who put that there?
Yep. We were just that, and the big chest away from being able to bail on left side swamp. But unfortunately, there's still something there.
Since I don't think we ran across that big key, we're going to be looking at a left side big key too. So not only are we going to have to go all the way over to the left side of the swamp, we're going to have to come back to the middle to unlock that big chest. Most likely.
He did grab that big key that was in the push block chest.
Oh, okay. I did not catch that when I was watching Hitsuyan.
Oh, our third male upgrade. Well, our first for Christos.
Yeah, still not a bad find. Again, not what he was looking for, but, it's not something you're going to turn your nose up at. Alright, so now we get to see that left side check. Hitsuyan making the same gamble, so they're going to have to come in here right afterwards, just as Christos has done. So no time lost or gain in that circumstance.
Yeah, this is pretty standard Swamp Palace routing.
Thankfully, we do have the hook shot, so we're only going to have to drop down once. Because honestly, the worst thing is hoping for that vanilla or French vanilla hook shot and having to drop down twice. Usually because you don't end up getting anything for it.
Yeah, that is the worst.
Alright, so there's our other dungeon item. We are one check away here. Yep, nope. Alrighty. Swamp didn't have anything we really liked.
Yeah, so again, the disappointing crystal trend continues in this seed.
Yeah, it's certainly seeming like it, and we've gone through quite a few crystals at this point. Well, speaking of rupees, there's another 300 horde sitting on Desert Ledge, so we're going to be leaving that one alone.
All right,
we are
so
going to get a 54.5-minute Agana check, so we'll see what's over here.
if my math is correct, this is going to be lamp or flute.
Good call.
Book, yeah, that was also a good call.
And that being honestly a terrible find for Agnes Cave, because you really don't want to head over there without either the boots or the flute, since you could quickly get there and back. But with one of them hiding there and the other one still yet to be found, was not a fun check for our runners.
Yeah, but now Christos getting a little bit of that maneuverability here. We'll see how long until Hitsuyan gets over to that desert check. It looks like he is leaving the desert area, so this is going to give Christos a nice opportunity to make up some of that time he did not have the hammer.
Yep, Christos releasing the quack in here, so brace yourselves. And yeah, chat making a good point. With that flute being really, really early in its availability, Christo's probably sitting here going, oh, what did Hitsuyan do with that flute when he got it half an hour ago? Dang it.
Yep, that constant pressure of when you're doing a seed and you think that you've done the worst possible plays and assume that your opponent has just done everything perfectly, and it's like, wow.
Yeah, it's really difficult to not fall into that mindset. Christos deciding to go with the swag kill using the hammer, even though he does have a tempered sword. We're also going to get a Smith's chain check, which would be nice. That'll be some new information for us.
This is going to be good news for Hitsuyan if he takes this all the way to the lunchbox, since that will put him within spitting distance of a game.
Yeah, that's a good point. That routing will sit him right there at that cave, so if all goes well here, I would not be surprised to see our flute coming up somewhat shortly for Hitsuyan. Alright, speaking of fetch quests, we have one more underway. Nope.
Your friend Alfred's a little stingy there.
Yeah, well, Alfred might not be familiar with the monetary system in Hyrule. Just grabbed a rupee of whatever color he could find, and well, ended up being the not useful one. Alright, so to those of you who have joined us somewhat recently, this is a regular old seed. There were no changes made by Hitsuyan, so it's just a regular old standard, as in no shuffle of any sort. 7/7 crystal, defeat Ganon rather than fast Ganon. So we are not doing anything special this seed, just a regular old seed.
All right, and some more cash in that lunchbox.
Yep, and with Hitsuyan heading that way with the bomb in hand, we are going to get a flute. He's probably going to be thinking the exact same thing that might still be running through Christos' mind right now, actually. Oh, what did Christos do with that early flute?
Yeah, because Hitsuyan has had great momentum in the seed so far, but yeah, this is we are pushing an hour, and he's only getting this flute, which was available within the first couple minutes of the seed.
Yeah, if you could be crazy enough to check Agnes Cave right off the get-go, you would have had this sucker super early. Meanwhile, going to be 4 crystals for Christos as he grabs, I believe, a compass from here.
Oh, very nice. So yeah, and this is now this is an interesting boat because this is gonna put well, did Hitsuyan do Hera, or is are we still waiting?
Yeah, Hitsuyan has not done Hera yet. Did just recently get that mirror and hasn't gone back up since grabbing the hammer. So yeah, no Hera yet.
So yeah, this has been quite a change of fortune for Christos here. He is now sitting at 4 crystals, in the exact same position as Hitsuyan item-wise. They are both still looking for the Ice Rod, at the very least, for their Go mode.
Yep, Ice Rod, maybe the boots, and Quake as well for Christos.
Oh, did Christos not get Quake? Ooh.
That is correct. No Quake for him. So each of our runners missing a medallion.
Really?
And there's a lamp.
Really? That's the lamp. Okay, game. Okay, seed.
I mean, it had to be somewhere.
You know, it's funny. That's not the first time I've seen that either. It's one of those things where it just takes forever to get to. You're like, really? That was in logic? Okay.
Checkerboard Cave, meanwhile, gonna go a quick in and out. Don't need that 100 rupees at this point. We're probably gonna get a desert check right now, which will let us know if we're gonna need those boots. Torch GT Big Key notwithstanding. Christos saving a little time there with the alternate mirror.
All right, so Christos has got to get up to Bumper Ledge before he can get into Mire.
Which might not be a bad thing. Go mode Mire can be quite a bit quicker, as we see the boots not required for this seed yet. And now having the mirror, that does put Graveyard Ledge into logic as well. So, slightly more likely to go up there now that we have access to 2 item locations.
Yep, and plus there's always our old friend the catfish.
Oh, we don't speak about him.
Our old enemy, the catfish? Ooh, Desert not paying out again, like all of our other crystals so far.
Yeah. Interesting thing at this point, though. The Pyramid Fairy is going to be in Logic for Hitsuyan, and not yet for Christos, because he does need that Quake Medallion. So that could be an interesting set of item locations.
That's true. If the Ice Rod doesn't pop up somewhere in Desert Palace or in Mire, that's going to be a tempting check. Oh, just missing that last shot on otherwise a wonderful landmo kill for Hitsuyan, but he finishes him off anyway.
Yep, and gets a quarter of what you normally would, just a piece of heart there. But another crystal, so we are up to 4 for Hitsuyan, going to be up to 5 for Christos in just a minute here. Alright, so are we calling Ice Rod Laser Bridge? Ah, and Christos short hopped.
Very similar fights there for both of them. Ice Rod, Laser Bridge. You know, it's maybe.
Or would you rather call Ice Tea Chest?
You know, I think I would.
Meanwhile, we're going to get a little bit of a divergence here as Hitsuyan can clear Mire. Meanwhile, Christos is going to turn in our other fetch quest, so this will be fun. Going to get new information on both ends.
And the witches have brewed up a little bit of love.
Alright, so we got all 3 fetch quests, and we wish we didn't catch any of them. That's pretty much par for the course. Oh boy, I think we might very well see a Turtle Rock dip here.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this, Christos.
Christos will tell you how he feels about it in about 6 or 7 minutes. Maybe sooner, depending on if that Ice Rod turns up. It's one of those plays, and with Christos having a 1-game lead, it's not a bad play to make. It's a play that will cement your victory should you choose correctly. And if you don't, well, then there's game 3.
That's true, and again, you know, between they both got the flute pretty late, but Christos did get that hammer pretty late as well, so he's probably feeling a little bit more inclined to gamble at this point.
Yeah, it's a good point. Being up in the series does not make that inclination go down at all, because it's kind of you're playing with house money for this one particular matchup. And Hitsuyan did end up grabbing the Ice Rod here in Mire, so this is not going to be a play that works out in Christos' advantage here.
Oh, yeah, that's well, I mean, I'm trying to think of a way out of the obvious conclusion here right now.
I mean, Hitsuyan still needs Ether, so... So we might end up at a point where both of our runners are missing a particular medallion. And we will see how quickly they get over to where that medallion is located.
There's Hitsuyan grabbing those boots, getting a little bit more of a time edge now.
I'll tell you what, Ice Rod and boots in Mire. This Mire was loaded.
especially compared to all the other crystals this seed.
Yeah, pretty much. Basically, what you were supposed to do is go into Skull Woods, go into Thieves Town, and then go into Mire. You got pretty much everything you needed. Thankfully, Turtle Rock is quite a bit quicker when you were just going through it the second time for the clear. So, it's not as bad as it could be, but things are not looking great for Christos right now, especially since we know where everything required to beat this seed is.
Yeah, what we're hoping for right now for both runners is that once they're done with their current stuff, once Hitsuyan is done with probably Meyer and Hera, that he's going to go and hit up that escape, whereas Christos is going to have to go and do those Northern Dark World checks to see that the Quake on Bumper Ledge. And that's asking them to not do any more dungeon dips, which, we'll have to see if they feel more tempted to do that over the overworld checks.
So honestly, at this point, at least from Hitsuyan's perspective, Hera is going to seem a heck of a lot more appetizing than Eastern, since we're looking at basically the same amount of checks, and Hera is going to give us a crystal. And then once you're up there, yeah, it's going to be a situation where he's already climbed the mountain, so going to have to come back down afterwards. I would be surprised to see Hitsuyan hit up. Yeah, I'd be surprised to see Hitsuyan hit up anything before Hera, unless he decides to route in the big red bomb with a play for the front of escape. That is an option.
Well, he's got to clear Hera to get that big red bomb, so
yeah,
I think Hera's the way to.
That is a fair point. I keep forgetting that's the other 5-6. We're going to get a couple of caves in here. Hitsuyan not going to grab anything he wants from here, and Christos probably not going to get anything useful here. Could still get something like half magic, but not going to be anything that he truly wants to see at this point. All of that's in Mire. Looks like we are going to get a... Oh yeah, boots locations. That's something I hadn't even thought about. It makes sense. Just picked up the boots. Got 2 quick checks here. Just a big 20 in King's Tomb, and then we'll head over to Bonk Rocks in just a second.
And this is good for Hitsuyan to progress. We do want to see him doing more checks like this instead of committing to some of those pendant dungeons.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Ice Palace is the particular one that springs to mind at this point. Although I don't remember off the top of my head if there were 2 items or 3 left in the back of Thieves Town, so that could be very tempting as well. Christos giving us a disco light there for a second.
Yeah, we get it.
Christos is being very patient, he swears. Alright, 10 arrows, 10 bombs. It'd be really funny if we had a 10 rupee here that he could get, but instead we're just going to get a map and then a small key. And then an exasperated mirror.
All right, Christos, where are you off to?
Magic Bat. Gonna try to preserve that portal if at all possible.
Yeah, unfortunately, we know that's not gonna work out for him. And Hitsuyan going for the. Is there a formal name for?
I think it's just the Herapocalypse. If there's a formal name, that I have not heard it yet. I'm also certain that if there's a formal name, chat will inform us.
It is Harappa, so I'm glad that the committee was very feeling very creative that day.
I mean, honestly, I can't think of anything else to call it, and I would generally go for a pun if at all possible, so yeah, I can't think of anything. I think we're gonna get a... Well, this could either be good for Christos or less so. We will see if he heads towards Thievestown or towards Bumper Ledge.
All right, so luckily he's not going into Skull Woods, so he is not being tempted to dip into.
Yep. Honestly, not a terrible call, but not going to be the correct one, unfortunately.
Such a shame because the Quake Medallion's so close to where he just warped into Dark World. He just had to go a little east and a little north and a little east instead of a little south and into Thievestown.
Yeah, meanwhile, Hitsuyan, we're going to be waiting for him to make the 1 hour, 15 minute, 1 hour, 20 minute, however the case may be, Eastern play, so that'll be fun. Eastern play, I mean escape, sorry.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if escape was the furthest thing from Hitsuyan's mind right now. I mean, obviously, we'd like to see him get there sooner rather than later, but on the other hand, it would be kind of interesting to see a nice palace.
Yeah, at this point you also have to consider that that particular set of locations may have slipped his mind, although we might see it after the red bomb play here.
Oh yeah, here we go. Let's check out what's on Pyramid Ferry.
Because this would be the time to do it. I hate those stupid skulls. They just pop out of bushes and get in your way.
That's kind of funny to bonk off them, though.
Alrighty, so with this seed being the way it is, our runner's both looking for 1 item in Hitsuyan's side, 2 for ChristosOwen. This is just a friendly reminder. Go ahead and give both of our runners a follow. They're doing a great job on this seed, and they were willing to put themselves out there for our entertainment. Since it's rando, it tends to be sadistic entertainment, if we're being perfectly honest. So go ahead and give them both follows. They deserve it.
Oh, Pyramid Ferry. Oh, the cruelty.
I mean, I don't know what you expected.
But you know what? The most important thing that we got from that was the push to go ahead and do escape. This is going to put Hitsuyan into go mode.
Yep, and with just 1 dungeon to clear after this, we'll be looking at not a terrible finishing time for this seed. A little bit trolly, but not a full-on 2-hour-long slogfest of doom. Yep, and he knows it, in and out.
We'll get some butter off blind.
Alright, so now it looks like he is going to be headed in the correct direction.
There we go, Christos. You got it.
We're probably...
Ah.
Yeah, there is one more item in here for Christos. He ran out as soon as he grabbed the hammer.
Yeah, as given given the timing of that, it was hard to blame him for just bailing immediately.
Yeah, it was one of those, I'm really looking for that item. There it is, I'm out! It's alright, Vestitude. I'm still thinking of a joke for Harapot too. So you and I can just have terrible senses of humor together. Or terrible senses of humor if you could just be so, horrible about it. Or terrible, I guess. But I've murdered that pun now, so let's just move on. I do find it kind of amusing that our vanilla 6 and 7 crystals actually just kind of flip their medallion requirements.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing earlier. It's a funny world we live in.
I mean, do you mean funny ha-ha or funny randomizer sucks?
It can be two things. But I think it was pretty trolly of the seed to give us Bombos immediately and have that be the medallion that was not needed at all.
Yeah, especially with that relatively early Fire Rod pickup. Just didn't need it anywhere, even if we were so inclined to complete Ice Palace. Which, thankfully, that's one dungeon neither of our runners have had to go into, so at least there's that.
Yeah, hopefully Christos is going to proceed with overworld checks, make that North Dark World play, having taken down the Moth.
Yep, and for those in chat who are asking, the boots and the ice rod both sitting in Mire, so this being one of those rare situations where Mire, in spite of only having 2 items in it, ended up being, loaded, honestly. And yeah, chat pointing out at this particular moment, it is Hitsuyan's game to lose, which I think is fine for all of us since we all like more randomizer, and it means we're going to get a game 3.
Yep, and hey, we may even get a little bit of non-vanilla settings too with that third one.
That's a fair point. That's definitely something to consider asking Christos in the interview and see if he'll be willing to give us any information on that. My personal favorite is a fast Ganon seed that still takes a little over an hour and a half. That just makes me happy. Because you sit there going, okay, it's fast Ganon, you can go ahead and take a couple minutes off of here, shouldn't be too bad, and then you end up with a regular finishing time anyways.
I wouldn't mind seeing MC Shuffle. I've been enjoying that setting so far this tournament.
That's fair. That's a rare one, too. I don't see that one terribly often.
All right, there you go, Christos, rather. Sorry.
All right, so for those in chat who are asking, Game 3 is not currently scheduled, so we're going to have to wait to give you details on that. Perhaps they will have information for us when we pull them in for the interview, but perhaps not, so we'll see how that goes. Kind of intriguing to see a death warp there. Oh, right. He's death warping so he doesn't lose his portal. So Christos is actually not going to have to full-on double-dip Turtle Rock. He'll be able to hop in from the laser bridge.
Yeah, this is a very nice tactical decision here. Again, I mean, he is going to have to pretty much full clear out Meyer here to grab all the items he needs. But yeah, we'll see what this comes down to. This might come down to GT.
Yeah, Hitsuyan still having quite a bit of an advantage, but saving that portal allows Christos several minutes back. Meanwhile, while I believe the GT Big Key bot is still dead, so we're still doing this unofficially. Sorry, guys. We do have a game we like to play. There are 22 locations in GT that may possess the Big Key, which is the final item we're going to need here in just a moment. So get your guesses in chat. 1 through 22, no zeros, no negatives, no decimals, no fractions. You guys know the drill. Because I said all that, someone's going to put in one of each, and that's fine. But yeah, go ahead and get your guesses in chat, and if you win, we'll give you a shout out. So, Tao, what are you thinking?
I'm not going to go for a number. I'm going to go for tile room because I would like to see Christos walk in, go to tile room, the ultimate gamble, and get that big key and bring us a nice tight closer.
That's not a bad call. That would very well be interesting. I'm going to go ahead and say it's in its vanilla location just because I kind of enjoy seeing it there. So that would be 17 given a standard Hope Room and then full left. Meanwhile, Hitsuyan grabbing the 7th crystal and the inferior boomerang.
So Christos, I believe, already got his ice rod. We just want him to grab those boots and then head on out of here.
I mean, honestly, at this point, he might not, because that ice rod does put him into go mode. So we might literally just see him go straight to the back at this point. Alright, so Hitsuyan going over to the right-hand side first. Hope Room, calling it that for a reason. We'll see what we get in here. Full heart. It's not terrible, I guess. And a small key. So Hitsuyan going to go full right.
Hammer, it looks like you were correct, and Christos is going to skip those boots.
Yeah, I mean, because at this point you're honestly thinking, okay, the second item in Meyer is somewhere. It's probably in that stupid fire-locked portion that would take me a minute and a half to get to, and it's probably going to be a big 20. So, you know what, we're just going to skip that, not knowing that Meyer was the most loaded dungeon of them all. Meanwhile, Hitsuyan making good work of that Cane of Samaria, which honestly is far easier than throwing bombs. And yep, nothing over there to speak of, so we are going to be going left. Alright, Torch just 3 bombs, so we are 7 checks down. We still have 15 to go. About a third of the way through our potential checklist here. Meanwhile, Victory is not going to be difficult at all with this Butter Sword.
Oh, whoa. Little touch and go there for a second.
And Christos kind of did a run around there because he wasn't sure if he was going to get a second lightning or not. Alright, Alright, that is 4 more checks done in what is traditionally known as the Dark Magician Room. So called because a runner a couple years ago made that room popular by doing what is known as the Dark Magician Strat, where you start left, go to that room, and then mirror back and go full right. We're going to see a couple of individual checks here, and then we're going to see Rando Room. Yep, another death warp from ChristosOwen, so he'll be headed straight up the mountain in the light world to go ahead and drop down and mirror into Turtle Rock again. Alright, Random Room coming up next, going to give us 14 through 17. So, given my number and Hitsuyan's routing, we're hoping I'm hoping at least, it's the last chest in here.
All right, let's see what we got. Oh, the silvers.
Nope, and we continue on. Christos using a lesser known part of the Death Mountain Caves here. Alright, so on Hitsuyan's side, we've got Bob's chest and then our lovely Armos on ice. Which, with the silvers, gonna be a pretty easy fight.
Yeah, get some nice revenge on the earlier Armos being a little squirrely.
Yeah, with silvers just takes one smack piece, and well, there's our book. Oh, almost tile room, but not quite.
Oh, so close.
Alright, so for those of you counting at home, that was 21. So, shout out to Ike TV, who was the first person to guess 21. Congratulations. For your prize, you get a free sample of several more randomizer seeds today. Should be several more going on tomorrow. You can also log into the, or rather, I should say, go on to the randomizer website and play as much randomizer as you like. Please note this is not actually a prize and is available to everyone. So congratulations on your winnings.
So what do we? So Hitsuyan right now is in the gauntlet. Christos is heading over to GT. I mean, Christos does not have the boots. Hitsuyan's got the speed advantage at the time, head start. Maybe he'll despawn the tower.
No, we don't wish that on people. That's terrible. That is completely and totally awful.
I've never actually seen that in a race, so I'll save that wish for when I'm not commentating, so nobody can blame me. But I would like to see that one day.
Oh, yeah, you probably don't want to say that wish out loud.
Yeah, I'm already seeing a lot of hate there. Well, this is my last commentary. It's been nice being a member of this community.
I don't think it's quite that bad. I think you'll be alright. Hitsuyan absolutely demolishing land mode 2. Those silvers are nice.
A beautiful fight.
So at this point, we could see a full right play from Christos that would save him a couple minutes. That's relatively unlikely, but it's still within the realm of possibility. Meanwhile, Hitsuyan going through the most satisfying rooms in the game. They're not too difficult to do, and they feel so good when you get them right.
Yeah, I love those Kana Samaria strats.
And yeah, I have seen that tower despawn happen in a race. Thankfully, I was not commentating, but it is a terrible, terrible thing to happen. I've also done it once personally. I wouldn't wish it on anyone.
Oh, Hitsy! Oh!
That's going to be a fall. Alright, so a minor setback there, but not a big deal. Christos, meanwhile, heading to the left-hand side, so it's going to be a long journey to that big key for him as well. Yep, chat pointing out that Hitsuyan has silvers. Christos going to find them in Randomizer room, so they are both going to have silvers by the time this is all said and done. Meanwhile, hello Moldorm 2.
Goodbye.
Alright, Moldorm 2 not... Basically, Moldorm 2 not being trolly, which is always nice. Alrighty, and with that, Hitsuyan has one final maths test here. We have our agonometry test. The angles are yet to be determined, as is the final grade. Yeah, so for those in chat who are asking what a GT tower despawn is, basically here's how it works. In that second torch room that Hitsuyan fell down from, if you go up the stairs at the exact moment as the torches in the first room go out, so that door would close, if that happens on the same frame, then you will actually despawn everything in the tower. Why is that a problem? Because you also despawn Aga 2. So you literally have to mirror out and then redo the entire top of the tower. Which, yeah, that's not fun. That's not fun at all.
Alright, so Hitsuyan on his way to Ganon. Christos just grabbing those silvers out of Rando room.
Yep, so we'll see what Smart Alec comment our lovely pig friend has to say. And there you go, telling us that we need to eat healthy cereal with whole grain for our delectable insides, which is, I mean, kind of creepy, but, you know, it's just an interesting way to tell us we need more fiber, I guess.
Yeah, the incredible insides comment is yeah.
Alrighty, meanwhile, Tempered Sword making fairly quick work here. We are already into phase 3. He's going to go ahead and stomp our the corners and the outlying perimeter of this room out. Then we get to smack him with a couple silvers, and by a couple I mean 4. And then we go get to see our Triforce buddy. There's going to be 2 there, turn around, hit the torch. Torch glitch isn't really a big deal for this one. It's more important when you don't have silvers, but there's another double. And yeah, I would suggest not getting your GGs in chat yet, because I am a paranoid person who has seen people fall off the bridge. But most of you are probably doing it already anyways.
GG's for Hitsuyan, and let's get that time.
Yep, give me just a second. I got logged out again, so I'm going to go locate it.
Oh god, the beeps are back. Christos!
Christos making his way through the gauntlet here. Having to be careful. I don't believe he still has that fairy in a bottle.
Yeah, I am inclined to agree. Also, is not wearing red mail like Hitsuyan was. But at least is about to get this fairy.
Yeah, and honestly, the gauntlet is a really difficult portion of the game here. Our runners tend to make it look really easy, but it's not. It's really not.
Oh, one stray Wizrobe.
Alrighty, and we are joined in the booth by our winner, Hitsuyan, finished in first place with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 37 minutes, and 35 seconds. Hitsuyan, GG. How about that race?
GG, guys. Yeah, I don't expect it to win the game, honestly, because my go mode items, or the last two items, was in Sphere 1. Very early reachable, so I was thinking I am always behind the world, and I gambled the whole game that the lamp is on the Hyrule Castle or Agina spot for the logic. Yeah,
that would not have been a bad gamble. Unfortunately, you got the other Death Mountain access over in Agina's cave. But hey, don't feel bad about that. Christos went through just about the same thing you did. Also had a lot of difficulty finding that hammer, so it was not a terribly forgiving race for either of you.
After the race yesterday, I was thinking, okay, let's check Skullwoods very early, because that screwed me up the last. And yeah, Skullwoods is loaded every game.
I'll tell you what, Skullwoods had the hammer, which was really nice, but Meyer was loaded with the boots and the ice rod, which is something you don't ever see.
I guess that was also a little bit lucky for me, that I was not in go mode at this point, that I had to check the other chests in Maya and got the boots out of it.
Yeah, because Christos grabbed that ice rod, got the big key, and then went straight to Vitreous, since ice rod was his go mode item. Yeah, outside of Meyer, we didn't really have much of anything in any of the crystal dungeons today.
Pretty empty, everything. But I had only 5 checks left, I guess, in the game, so I feel also behind all the time. After finding Aoife, I was thinking, okay, I'm game over, because I was screwed so many times because of Hyrule Castle, not checking it very early.
Yeah, I've noticed that's a much more common occurrence for V31, is you end up with an item that's kind of out of the way and is checked pretty much last, and it just ends up not being fun for both of our runners, because you're feeling like you're behind, and I'm sure Christos was too, because he did not have the issue with Quake, but did have the issue with Ice Rod, and never actually even got those boots. So this version in particular seems to be very good at hiding items very well. Alrighty, go ahead and get your GGs in chat for ChristosOwen. I did not see the comment from the Triforce on Hitsuyan side there, but cool seed, right? I don't know that I fully agree with that. Alright, so I heard somewhere in chat that Game 3 was already scheduled for Monday afternoon. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Awesome. And we are joined now by ChristosOwen as well. Christos, GG. How about that seat?
Yo, geez. Yeah, it ended up being pretty rough how I routed it. Obviously pretty clear with what held me up, not seeing the quake pretty much held up a lot of my progress towards the end. But with where Hammer was in Skullwoods, it went pretty poorly anyway. If I'd done Skullwoods and checked Bumper Ledge before doing the South Loop, then it would have been like a 20-minute quicker finish. That's how Rando goes.
Yeah, I've noticed this version enjoys hiding things a little more than the previous ones have. So you had bow in one pendant dungeon, hammer in another one, and then ice rod and boots actually in Mire. The boots you did not end up grabbing because ice rod were your go mode, but yeah, Mire was actually loaded today with only 2 items, both of them being really nice. One required and one, well, allowing for actual quick movement around Hyrule.
Yeah, I was sad never to find the boots. After I didn't find them in GT, I just figured they were probably in Ice Palace or something. Yeah, I spoke to Hitsuyan already in the game, in the race channel, so I kind of know what the differences were between our races. The only thing I did like was I checked everything and knew that Agina's Cave had either lamp or flute. So I was 100% sure that something was in there after I beat Swamp Palace. So I was like, okay, well, let's go pick up either the lamp or the flute. And if it was the flute, I was only missing Ice Rod. So because I didn't know what Maya was yet. So I was like, okay, well, time to beat the crystal dungeons I can. Check Maya. Saw that I still needed Quake. And was like, that sucks. Added another item I still needed.
Yeah, those medallions are annoying, and they can most definitely get you there. The boots ended up being something not needed. And that's usually something that pops up later as well, because you don't normally get early access to Desert Palace. Then you're stuck going, oh, I need the boots.
Yeah. I was pretty sure that so I found Hammer, and I figured, okay, even though I found this kind of late, like there's still a chance I could win this. And then when I started clearing the Hammer crystal dungeons, I was like, I didn't find Quake or the Ice Rod, and then did Turtle Rock and still didn't find either. I was like, okay, wow, I've pretty much lost at this point. So that ended up from that point double dipping Thieves and Skullwoods, both of which had nothing. So if I had stuck with my gut, well, not my gut, but stuck with my first decision to just piece out of both after the 2 items that I had found in each, then it would have been the right decision. But Thieves still had 3 things, so I was like, well, that's like the most dense place left. And then I left my mirror portal outside Turtle Rock, so I was limited to what I could do at that point without sacrificing that mirror portal. So I was just praying that Quake and Ice Rod, well, mainly Ice Rod, wasn't mirror locked or locked behind a warp. So I was praying it wasn't Graveyard Ledge, K45, Smith, or Purple Chest. I think those are and Ice Palace. Luckily, I did find them and could save the portal, but it just wasn't enough.
Yeah, I was going to say, that did work out for you. And thankfully, I actually saw a runner do that yesterday, so I knew it was going on when you let the Murderdactyl just take you out in the overworld there.
Yeah, like I kept that. That's the first time I've ever had to do that. And I kept that portal for a long time after Turtle Rock. cleared out all of Thieves and Skullwoods, and then found Quake, and then did Maya, and so 2 Death Warps. So get back to Light Old, which is kind of fun. Shoutouts to Gem for doing that in a race I was watching. And that's what taught me. I was like, oh, okay, well, now I understand how mirror portals work.
Yeah, it's a really cool little strat there to know that if you die in the Dark World, the mirror portal still stays put, which is nice. It's not something that I knew either until the first time I saw it.
GG's, Hitsuyan. Kind of glad it's going to Game 3. Hopefully the final one could be a little closer than the first 2 were, but I guess we'll see.
Yeah, so speaking of that, I do notice that it is on the schedule for, I believe, 3:50 Eastern Time on Monday. Have you decided what you are changing, if anything?
I probably won't change anything. So against Hitsuyan, what would be in my best interest is to make the seed as long as possible. And Fast Ganon and 6 crystals obviously makes it shorter. And like I could randomize maps and compasses, I guess. That may make it longer.
Oh, no.
It's it's just a guessing game for me. And I was like, So I'll probably just keep it how it is, to be honest.
That's good.
It's a shame there's not some of the other options that.
I assume you're referring to all dungeons in particular.
Actually, no. Like I hate all dungeons so much. Maybe that would have been a strategic thing, but I don't know that I would have wanted. I just don't find it fun. It would have been nice to have had like item pool or item function. Well, not item functionality. That kind of sucks. But get the item pool a bit harder. I don't think it would really make too much difference for Hitsuyan though.
A little bit.
But yeah, I'm actually commentating a match in 20 minutes, so I need to kind of peace out and get myself ready for that. So I'll say good games again, Hitsuyan, and thank you guys for doing the commentary and the tracking, and hope everyone enjoyed watching.
GG, Chris.
Awesome. Thanks to both you for doing the running, because without you guys being here, we would just be sitting here talking to ourselves, so it works out for everyone. Alrighty, so Hitsuyan, did you have any last thoughts you wanted to share before we head on out of here?
Not really. Thanks for commentating, guys, tracking, restreaming, as always, and yeah, hoping for a good match on Monday.
Alrighty, awesome. So shout out to both of our runners. You guys had a great race. Both of you got randoed a little bit there, but ended up not being terrible in the end. Shout out to our tracker who was fighting with the buttons this race, but still did very well keeping track of those items for us. Bacon 1207. So shout out to him. Tracking is much more difficult than you would originally believe. I've tried it a couple times, can't stand it. So major shout out to anyone who's willing to do it, because it is. I don't have the attention span for it, if I'm being perfectly honest. Shout out to my co-com Tao Degay. It was a blast comment with you. We had a heck of a race to commentate.
Yeah, thanks, Hammers. Pleasure commentating with you, and let's just get a little business out of the way. If you are looking for some more rando action, we have 10 minutes from now, Someone325 versus Delane over on Speed Gaming 4, and then 20 minutes, that match Christos mentioned, Chelsea X Lynn versus Emo Sarah on Speed Gaming 2. Again, if you want to see more Randomizer, give a follow to Speed Gaming 2 through 6, and ALTTPR Randomizer 1 through 5 or 6 is it now?
Yeah, it is ALTTP Randomizer, and then ALTTP Randomizer 2 through 5, I believe.
That sounds right. So anyway, thank you all for watching. I have been Tao Decay, and I will leave the last words to him.
Alrighty, so yeah, that's about all I have. Have a good day, guys. Stay safe, enjoy your holidays, and may your seeds not be ped seeds. If they are, may they at least be amusing.